The Marshall House Hotel on Broughton Street is one of Savannah, Georgia's oldest hotels, and it offers a dramatic history full of charming enchantment. The lovely brick walls and magnificent staircase at the Marshall House are some of the original architectural elements that have been maintained. The Marshall House is unique in that it was not originally a home but was built specifically as a hotel in 1851. The hotel has been through many changes and renovations over the years, but it has always kept its original purpose of providing quality lodging to travelers. One of the most tragic events in the history of the Marshall House occurred during the Civil War when a Union soldier was killed on the premises. His ghost is said to still haunt the hotel and has been seen by many guests and employees over the years. Another phantom that is said to frequent the Marshall House is that of a little girl who died in a fire that occurred in the hotel's kitchen in the early 1900s. Her apparition has been spotted on several occasions in the hallway outside of the kitchen. Mary Marshall built the hotel in 1851, on land that she'd inherited from her father, Gabriel Lever, who was a French cabinetmaker. The Marshall House is widely considered by architectural historians to be the finest structure Mary Marshall ever built. During the Civil War, the Marshall House was taken by the Union and used as a hospital until the end of hostilities. It was also utilized as a hospital twice more during yellow fever epidemics in the 19th century, and many people claim that ghosts still haunt it today. When renovating the hotel in 1998, workers discovered human remains while replacing some floorboards, which only added to the legend of the hotel's hauntings. The area became a crime scene, but soon it was learned that the downstairs had once been the hospital's surgery room, leading historians to believe that the bones which were discovered came from the amputated limbs of Civil War soldiers. The Marshall House is well aware of its spooky reputation. Faucets that turn on and off, lights that flicker inexplicably, electrical devices that power themselves, toilets overflowing for no apparent reason, and disembodied voices echo throughout the corridors are all examples of eerie ghostly occurrences. Loud noises are known to occur in the hallway on the 4th floor, where the amputated limbs were supposedly thrown into a common area to be disposed of. The Marshall House, on the other hand, is in fantastic shape. The stairwell features a unique ornamental design molded into the wall that adds to its charm. Today, however, it is a beautiful home. Additionally, doorknobs to the rooms wiggle as if someone were trying to enter them. I'm not sure what this discourteous ghost wants, but it's a safe bet that it isn't the type of room service you'd want. 306 is a room to be wary of, says another guest. We were on the 4th floor at the time, where there are loud hall noises at all hours of the night. Marshall House terrified me more than any other haunted house I've ever lived in. It was wonderful there, but I couldn't relax. Yes, it's old and noisy, but there's a lot more going on under that facade than meets the eye. I've heard stories from other people as well. There's also a ghost cat, but I've never seen it. There was another hotel guest who said she had seen one. But, in a city built over mummies, what else would you expect? A portrait of Mary Marshall, painted in 1830 by Peter Lawrence, is displayed in the hotel's lobby. A little girl who was staying at the hotel with her father informed him that he had seen a lady in the corridor one day when she pointed to the picture of Mary Marshall. While we don't know what the father replied, you can assume his astonishment when his young daughter told him she'd seen a ghost for decades. Perhaps they didn't stay at the Marshall House for too long after that. Guests have also reported hearing the distinctive sound of an old-fashioned typewriter emanating from Joel Chandler Harris's former chamber, which is famous for his collection of Uncle Remus tales. Is Joel Chandler Harris still typing away, intent on telling another tale about Uncle Remus? A dapper gent in a frock reading a book by the window, a lady in white sweeping down the corridors, and another ectoplasmic female who haunts the women's room and will occasionally lock the toilet are all said to have been seen. Let's hope it's a ghost, not some Chuck Berry impersonator with an extreme sexual fascination. Yes, the Marshall House is well known for being a noisy location due to its hardwood floors and high ceilings. However, there have been several reports of the apparition of tiny children, as well as cries of distressed infants, by hotel guests. The spirits of these youngsters are said to linger around the Marshall House, since the giggles and cheerful voices of children can be heard within it at any given moment. These ghostly youngsters may sometimes be seen skipping about in the hallway, sprinting and playing games. Their ghostly forms become visible. During the night, marbles and rubber balls may be heard rolling and bouncing in the corridors, not exactly modern kids' games, but if you look out in the hall, you will probably not see anything. There are no children, no balls, no marbles, so you must wonder whether you imagine the entire thing. My fiancé and I stayed at the Marshall House one night over the summer, says a visitor named Christopher. At the time, we didn't know its history and simply thought it was a cool hotel with a good price point on Expedia. That night, as we lay in bed watching television, we heard what sounded like families passing by our door. There was a lot of noise and children running around, which was unusual for 12 a.m. When I looked, however, I saw no one there. After hearing the same sounds every now and then until we went to sleep, I would not call it frightening but rather odd. There's a cautionary tale about a mother and son who stayed at the Marshall House Hotel. Her son was in the bathroom playing and talking to himself, while her daughter was in the bedroom. He then emerged from the bathroom weeping, and she asked him, "What's wrong?" And he answered, "The boy bit me." "What kid?" she inquired. And he replied, "The one I was playing with in the bathroom." The mother of the boy went straight to the bathroom once she discovered her kid speaking about someone who had been bit on the arm. When she examined her son's arm, she noticed a bite mark. Her face turned white as snow. She subsequently learned that this was not the first time strange bites have been reported at the Marshall House. There have been other guests who have had a child bite mark inflicted with such force that each time a bruise was left and the bite mark was on a region of the body that would have been difficult to reach unless said person was a contortionist. The Civil War soldiers' bones were discovered after the hotel renovations revealed them, but they were removed. The supernatural energy associated with the ghosts of disabled amputees continues to exist even after their remains have been removed. The spirits of disabled amputees who walk aimlessly and morosely throughout the hotel have been reported by guests. It's said that one of these lost souls has appeared in the lobby with his amputated arm held aloft, imploring visitors to assist him in finding a doctor. According to reports, some people have claimed that the hotel stinks of rotting flesh. 3 rooms had terrible smells and bad vibes so strong that the staff and workers couldn't stay in them long enough to accomplish anything. Rooms 214, 314, and 414, 414 being the worst, and I believe it's still quite active today. The owners of 414, a church located in the early 1960s, report that they've tried everything to get rid of the odor and vibrations. They even tried different deodorizers, but nothing worked. Finally, they had prayer/blessing in those rooms, and only with 414's persistent smell and vibrations did the atmosphere calm down. When they're cleaning room 414, the staff is said to play gospel music because it's the only thing that keeps the vibes at bay. Guests have seen doctors operating on soldiers who have just arrived from the front, as they walk into the ancient operating room. Some people claim to have felt a ghostly hand gripping their wrist, similar to that of a nurse to check for a pulse. Another guest mentioned seeing a man in a dark uniform who resembled a Civil War soldier, accompanied by a little boy who yelled at her, "Get out of my room." She immediately grabbed her bag and fled the scene as soon as she arrived. The Marshall House is one of Savannah's most popular hotels, not just for its history but also for its ghost reports. If you're searching for a genuinely unusual and memorable trip, consider spending the night or 2 at this ancient hotel. You could have run into some of the amiable ghosts who reside at the Marshall House.